Hey guys, this is Chris here. I just wanted to bring you guys a quick video. I'm gonna talk on canaries today, and I want to highlight for you guys how I know if my canary is molting. So I've had quite a few comments on canaries, whether they molt or when they molt, how I know if they're molting. You can see I put my plastic up for winter time. It's getting pretty cold. Just gonna let you guys see out there a little bit. See the birds. Sun's setting, kind of in a crappy spot, so you can't really see very good out there. Sorry. I do have my heater set up. I need to attach my thermostat to it. Right now it's just on the low setting. But this weekend we're supposed to get to below 32 degrees. So below freezing at night. And I have baby Goldians in the nest. I have some other birds. I got some new birds that I'm gonna highlight in my next video for you guys. So stay tuned to that. I'm sure you guys will hear them flying around and rustling around because they're in some of my breeding cages. And so just kind of a heads up for you guys there, dropping that in. I'll probably do a video on how I keep my shed warm. But today I wanted to focus on how I know if my canary is molting or not. And so one thing first I want to highlight is the importance of a molt for your canary. They need to molt every year in between their breeding seasons. And I've experienced that if the canaries don't molt in between breeding seasons, they either don't breed for me the next year, or they try to breed and either the eggs are infertile, the eggs hatch and the babies die within a couple of days, or the babies just aren't strong. They're kind of weaker babies. They don't fledge or, feather up and fledge as quickly as a typical canary should. And so I'm going to bring the canary over here. Then you guys can kind of highlight it a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see a little bit more of its true colors. And I'm going to grab the canary here in a minute just to show you guys how you can see if it's molting. And I hope that we can catch it on camera. If not, I apologize. I'll try and explain it the best that I can. So yeah, first thing is it's important for your canaries to molt every year. If not, you really have poor breeding results, and just overall for the health of the bird, it's better. It's healthier for that bird overall. And so just want to make sure that we highlight that. Canaries are a little tricky. They kind of follow a light schedule. The lighting is what tells them when to breed. The lighting's what tells them when to molt. Also, temperature plays a factor in that. When it's cooler temperatures, your birds aren't really going to want to breed. I'm saying think temperatures below 60 degrees. Typically, your canaries won't breed. Temperatures in between 65 and 85 degrees is optimal prime time for them to breed, temperature-wise. And then anything above that, it's just too hot. Canaries do not do well in the heat. We have really hot summers here, 95 and above, consistent days in a row. And during that time, my canaries, they're usually on the lowest part of the aviary, finding any shade they can, panting away. So it's important to keep fresh water in there for them. But that's one thing I have noticed with canaries is they don't love the heat very much. So a couple ways to tell if your canary is molting. One, the obvious, you start seeing feathers all over your either your aviary or your cage, on the floor surrounding your cage. When canaries molt, they molt pretty quick. Within about a month to 2 month range is when they will molt most of their feathers if they're heavy and having a great molt. You have two different types of molts. You have a heavy molt and you have a normal molt. Heavy molts typically are spurred when either temperature changes drastically or you change your lighting drastically. Say they're at 13 hours of light for a while and they're used to that, and then all of a sudden you have artificial light and you cut it down to 9.5 hours of light a day. That's going to send them into a molt, and a hard molt, meaning they're going to molt most of their feathers quite rapidly, and that can be very stressful on the bird. Typically, most of the time when your bird is molting, your canary, they will not sing. This is a male canary, and I have not heard him sing in probably 3 months now. And it's not because he's sick. You can see he's nice and healthy. He's vibrant. He's moving around. He's curious about his cage and his surroundings. But because of his molt, they won't sing as much. They try to conserve as much energy and nutrients as they possibly can. And singing requires energy, and that's not something they want to do. And so I do have some males that will sing during their molt. So I'm not saying that all of them won't, but that is generally a sign. So if you're trying to find a male and the canaries that you're looking at are molting, odds are your canary probably isn't going to sing, and if he does sing, it's going to be very few and far in between. So just a pointer there. Another way to tell if your canary is molting is you can see pin feathers growing, and usually the most obvious place to see that is on the head or on the back of the neck, and it's the starts of new feathers, and the feathers haven't grown through the little shoots yet, and so it just looks like they have these little pins throughout. I'm going to catch this guy and try and highlight that. He's got a lot of pin feathers throughout his head and the neck area. We're going to try and highlight that, and then I'm going to let him go in the aviary. I just caught him just so I could show you guys and kind of hopefully have a better video for you. And I don't know if this lighting's helping or not. It's kind of giving it a funky color. It's a plant light, and so it's probably making it to where you guys see a really weird color, don't see his true natural colors. And so he's a beautiful male. He's one of my babies. He'll be 3 years old this next year. So he's one of my breeders that I kept. He's got some good coloring and some beautiful traits to him, and he has a beautiful song also. So I don't know if you guys can see. We're gonna try and highlight and see if he doesn't move around, trying to see if you see any pin feathers. Just and look in his white in the mask on his face, and you see little white specks throughout his mask. Those are new feathers on the back of his neck. If you see these little kind of white feathers that look like they're grouped together, those are all pin feathers. Those are new feathers coming in. So that's a great way to see if your canary is molting or not. Also, one thing you can do is you can catch him and kind of blow on the neck of the feathers, or sorry, the feathers on the neck. There we go. And you should be able to see pin feathers there as well. That's a good sign saying that your canary's molting and getting new feathers in. Also, sometimes people look at molting as kind of a hassle and a bad thing. Molts are good. If your birds are molting, typically that means that your bird is healthy enough to regenerate new growth, and that's good. If you're starting to get bald spots on your birds, on your canaries, Goldians are famous to get bald spots. Typically, it means they have some sort of a nutrient imbalance or some sort of an underlying health issue that's preventing them from molting. They don't feel like they're healthy enough to grow those new feathers. And so when my birds are molting, I look at it as a positive. My birds are in decent health. And also it's important when they're molting to try and keep them as less stress as possible. Make sure you keep lots of cuttable out there, calcium, nutrients. That'll help with the new feather growth. I will give my molting canaries egg food about every 2 to 3 days with the egg shell in there, the hard-boiled egg shell. That'll help with replenishing those nutrients. And so let's catch him real quick. We'll show you guys, and then we'll end the video here. One thing I do love about canaries is they're very docile and gentle, and so as far as catching them, it's super easy. So this guy, he's awesome. So we'll kind of look up. You can see those little pin feathers in his orange mask, those little white flecks. So that is new feather growth, and that's something that is really good, that we love to see. On the back of his neck, see if it focuses there, you can see all those white pin feathers on the back of his neck as well. So he is molting right now, getting in new feathers, nice and healthy. Probably could use a little bit of a nail trim since he's been out in the aviary for the majority of the summer and the year. And so, but really beautiful male. I'm hoping to keep him for next year for breeding. One of the reasons right now why my canaries are molting at this exact time is because, one, they're going off of the light of the sun. So all my canaries are out in the aviary. They get natural sunlight. It's 6 o'clock right now and the sun's already setting. So they're getting shorter and shorter amounts of sunlight, which has triggered them to molt. Also, the temperature drop right now, like I said, this weekend we're supposed to get below 32 degrees. So we're getting tops, 58 degrees during the day. So it's a lot cooler weather for them right now. And that also has triggered their molt. So those are some things to look for. Lighting is crucial. That's what makes your canaries molt. Usually lighting that is under 10 hours a day will trigger your canary to molt. You want your canaries to breed between 12 to 14 hours of light a day, which is like mid-peak summer days. So just a little bit of lighting to put there with your breeding schedule and your molt schedule. So those of you that have canaries that are ready to breed right now, hopefully your lighting schedules are close to that 12-hour mark, which should mean your males are starting to sing like crazy. Your females are starting to play with nesting material and rip things apart. That's where you should be at. Right now, I'm at the start of the molting season, which means no singing. My females don't want anything to do with my males, and they all are getting new feathers in. So I hope that helped you guys out. Hopefully that was informative. You want these videos to be educational to you. Drop some comments below. Like the video, share it, click the subscribe button, and hopefully we'll get another video of the new birds that I got earlier this last week, and that'll be the next one. So keep an eye out for that video coming out hopefully this week for you guys as well. So thanks for watching, guys. See ya.